Welcome back into episode 9 of the GT series. So despite what I said last week about it being the last Cambelt video, this is the last Cambelt video. I will get this car started this week. All that's left to do is to reassemble the whole front of the engine, get the radiator in, put all the plugs back in, all that stuff, and then get the thing started. Start to finish, doing a Cambelt on one of these probably isn't that bad. It's probably something like 4 or 5 hours. How I work, because I do it in the evenings and things, it takes a bit longer. I'm also trying to show you everything, the warts, the pain in the ass problems, everything that you'll hit when you try and do this work. I think I say each time, but there's member videos available of this, which is about an hour long, and it shows absolutely everything. So for anyone that's in there getting stuck or not confident enough to try and do the Cambelt on their own, those videos are there sort of as a resource that's really handy. This video though, I'm just going to dive on in there and get on with it. Before I do though, thank you to all the members. If anyone would like to sign up for membership, there's a button down one of these sides. I can't tell because I don't know what way around the video comes out, but there's a join button there. But if you don't join, please do click the like button, subscribe to the channel. It really helps me build this channel out and keep pushing on with the videos. But let's just dive in there and see how we get on. It's time to fill the tension now with oil. So I bought this massive syringe. I think it's actually for sucking petrol out of fuel lines. What I want to do, regardless of that, what I want to do is check whether it can push. And I'm not going to push hard because I don't want to blow the O-ring inside the tensioner. But I just want to check whether oil comes out of the... In the end, I stopped actually using the syringe because I suddenly have this fear that I'm going to blow the gasket, which I probably would do. What I've done then is just kept filling this up. Well, I unplug it, put it on the syringe, pump oil back into this tube, click it back on there. And I've got the nipple in now because it's full, but with that nipple out. And it's taken, I think it was four fills of this tube and about 8 hours, although I wasn't keeping an eye on it. I just sort of kept coming back every now and then. Right, now I have seen the engine rotate. I'm happy with where it is. I've got the locking tool back in, so the crank bolt can come back out. Just going to crack it and do it by hand. Harmonic balancer comes off, and I can get the central cam cover in. I'm just working out the best way to do it without screwing everything up. There we are. Right, just need a little shimmy, nothing big, but let's get the screws in there. The thing I need to do before I go much further though is plug in the wire to the Cambelt reader. So I've just inserted the dipstick and put the bolt in there. This is the belt tensioner reader, so I'm just going to click that on there. I should have put it on first before putting the dipstick in, shouldn't I? So I'd like to rotate the engine a little bit more, just to check all the timing and things. Before I do that though, I'm going to put on the pulleys, if I can get them on. That's number one, and then the main sort of, it says all the belts and stuff, doesn't it? Now, I think I need the crank belt in there to get this in, to hold this all together, don't I? So, I'll drop that through there first. I think with a bolt this big, it'd go in really easy, wouldn't you? But it's still a pain in the butt. Come on. Got it. All right, yes. So I probably didn't video it, but I've now rotated the engine a couple of times and confirmed the markers all line up, and I've double checked the timing belt tension. That's still spot on. I actually adjusted it slightly, so it was fractionally loose, so I've now put it correct. And I've also nipped up the crank bolt. I need to take it somewhere that can give it the correct torque. I can't do that here, but I've made it what I would call tight. And we can start putting on these covers. So the first one to put on then is this side. Screws that are in my piece of cardboard, so I know where they came from. I don't have to look, I know they're the correct ones, which is really nice. I like that, I like not having to think. Now one thing I didn't mention But you should do, if you do my trick with the piece of cardboard, you know, this trick, mark on there the holes that don't have screws in, bolts in. Because what you'll do is you'll come to a point and there'll be 2 holes and you've got 1 bolt and you're like, is that the left or the right hole? Because I didn't write which one it is. And it will save you a lot of time. If you draw the empty holes as well as the full holes, it saves you a lot of pain later. This is the one I had a bit of games with getting it on, didn't I? Getting it off. But now I know how to get it on and off, it's a bit easier. So all of these I'm putting my anti-seize grease in, copper grease, just to stop it. I'll make it a bit easier next time round, basically. None of these were difficult to get out, but I might as well keep them nice and loose. It's a shame I didn't paint these up because it looked fantastic at the front of the engine. Now the harmonic balance is cleaned up and the other pulleys there look really good. But I just don't have time today. Good, okay, there the casing's on. My next task then is to thread the wiring loom across, and if you remember the pain I had getting it out of here goes behind this cam, this side, this bank I guess you call it. I've got to get on there. So what I'm going to do, I started and then thought I'll actually film it because it's bound to go wrong, is I'm going to wrap it first in tape. This is masking tape, which is particularly crap, but I don't have anything stronger, so it's going to have to do. I'm wrapping it because there's 2 bits. Well, one, it will protect it a little bit, but 2, there's 2 pieces to this. There's the 14 pin, and then there's the hot post wire there. So I've wrapped it so I can hopefully thread it up. But before I do that, I'm going to drop a bit of string down the hole. I'm going to get my torch. See exactly where it's going to come. I mean, seriously, there's no... if I get up there, I think you need to click subscribe straight away because this is going to be a major feat. Let's have a crack at it though. I think even getting the string to go down there is going to be hard work. Let's try with my famous mixture tuning screwdriver I made. Really, did Porsche really want it to go down there? It just seems like the most craziest place to put a wire, to thread the wiring loom. I can tell you that ain't going up there. Not on this shift. No, I'm not going to do it. What I'm going to do there is break everything, aren't I? What a pain in the arse this wiring loom is, isn't it? So, wiring harness comes across the front there like that. I'm going to put the I've got the dipstick in the other room, so I'll leave it for the second. That comes over there. Now we're starting to talk. I'm not going to finish this bit here for a minute. What it's going to do is do that. But I want to zip tie it and then just put it together. So I'm not going to do that straight away. That wire comes down the front and plugs into the radiator, so that's fine. We can move him sort of up the front now, so I can see what's what. I think what I'm going to do next is get the distributors back on, so they're safe and out the way. There we go. Number 1 on. It grips, we know we're good. We're good. Not being one to give up, I've come Saturday morning fresh with enthusiasm of getting this bit of the wiring harness tucked up behind this cam. So I've thread my string through, tied it to the big earth, or the big live actually. I'm going to try again. It's really not straightforward. There is not a lot of space in there. But let's try again, eh? Really not happy. Nope, 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 nope. Abort. Abort. Now, if you remember when I took this off, I put a box underneath it. I can't remember what it was now, some weird box. So it didn't drop down far. Now, the reasoning for that was so that I didn't have to detach the wiring. I didn't really want to get, well, I can't get underneath there easily with this wall here. So I thought if I just put a box there, it'll drop down. Well, that dropped about 3 centimeters. And then it'll be easy for me just to lift it back up and slide it in place. Let's test out that theory now. Right, that's the alternator back on. I think I'm going to thread this back through now as well while I'm holding it. Which goes up and under there, like that. Right, so with the wiring harness in there, now what we do is zip tighten a couple of places. I believe it zip ties here onto the front of the, this is the sort of bracket for the ignition leads. So got one in there like that. I'm going to put one here that holds the, I believe that wire goes across to the cam position sensor. I've tightened up the alternator bolts. I'm happy that's all in correct. What I need to do now is get the belts on. I think we're down to that time, aren't we? So the order is what I need to work out, isn't it? I think that's air pump. I'm just going to dangle them on the pulleys to start with. That's air pump. This must be power steering pump. So it goes one further in. So let's do that one now. So that one goes there. Alternator belt, like that. That is going to take me a little bit of effort to get those on, so I'm going to go and do those now. So now it's down to the problem of how to do up the crank bolt. So this crank bolt goes up to, I think it's 218 foot-pounds, which equates to 295 Newton meters. So that's 295, you divide by gravity, so it comes out about 30 kilograms per meter. Now I've got this huge right, we're now down to the problem of how to do up the crank bolt. So these go up to about 218 foot-pounds, I think, which equates to about 295 Newton meters. 295 you divide by gravity, which is 9.81, comes out at about 30 kilograms. So you need to apply 30 kilograms force at a 1 meter distance. Enter my super long tool, that is 1 meter long. So if you apply 30 kilograms at the end of that, you're doing the right amount. The problem with that is when you get in there, you imagine that on the crank bolt, there isn't that much room. There isn't 1 meter to the side that you can swing that. So we have to do a little bit of maths. If we 30 kilograms at 1 meter, if you divide that down, that's the same as if you times by 3 and divide by 3, that's 90 kilograms at 30 centimeters. So I don't weigh quite 90 kilograms, I'm about 85. And I've measured out on my throwaway torque wrench, if you remember, the one that doesn't work anymore. I've measured out the 30 centimeter mark. So if I stand on that at the 30 centimeter mark and get all of my weight, it's approximately in the right ballpark. So what I'm going to try and do then, I haven't actually tried this yet, but if I can get my foot on there, I might have to do it in a couple of runs. But if I can get my foot on that, like that, that is now taking all my weight. Actually, I only turned a little bit because I gave it a bit earlier on. That is taking all of my weight. I'm going to do it one more time just to check. But I believe that will be pretty tight, I think they're going to call that. I know it actually hit something on the way down, so let's tighten up a bit more. Okay, we're getting in the right ballpark now by the looks of it. Let's do one more. So I'm putting my heel on the 30 centimeter mark and then putting all my weight on it. There. That's still turning a little tiny bit. Let's do one more. Like that. Okay, it's not turning at all. So that's got all my weight at 30 centimeters, £295 Newton meters. Okay, I think we're ready to try the radiator in. I've left one of the hoses on, which hopefully won't get in the way. I use that just for filling, and when I was just testing it a minute ago, make sure it's not leaking at all. Now, go another crack at getting this radiator in. Now, it obviously should fit, and it does fit. I just need to convince it. Actually, it's pretty straightforward, isn't it? That's no real stress. Okay, what I've decided to do then is, obviously I've fitted the old radiator. I did tidy it up a little bit. I've just pulled the trigger on a brand new Radtech radiator, so I'm really looking forward to getting that in. What I've decided to do though is, while I'm waiting for that one to arrive, I'm going to put this one back in so we can wrap up the Cambelt work. Feels like it's dragged on a bit. Get that in there, and then later I'll do a whole swap out and we can see what that looks like. That'd be great. What I'm going to do now though is, because I know I'm going to be swapping the radiator out further down the line, and I don't want to put expensive coolant in it, I didn't drain the right hand side bank of coolant. So what I'm going to do is not drain that. I'm going to top it all up with distilled water, or whatever it is, this radiator water. I've got a couple of these, ionized water. I'm going to top it up, so then I can start it. I know I can start it without topping it up for a little while without coolant, it'd be okay. But I'd rather do that, and that is what we're testing really, isn't it? To make sure that the water pump's not leaking, and to check everything's secure. So I'm going to top that up now. Then I need to do the spark plugs. I've got a whole set of new spark plugs. We'll put those in, and then we can turn it over. So I'm going to top up the engine first. I'm going to pull that hose off of there. This is a nice new hose, courtesy of my friend Adam. Right then, let's work through these cylinders 1 through 8. I'm actually going to start from cylinder 1 this time as well, and I've got a cloth to wipe the camera with, which is good. And what I'm going to do is actually mark on my pad the cylinder I'm testing. So let's have a look around then and see what we can see. Record from now. I'm going to try the technique of smashing it into the piston to turn the camera, and then I can rotate it. I'm looking for any scores in the cylinder walls. Looking good. Okay, it's all 8 cylinders checked out then. And I'll leave that one out because we're going to put the spark plugs back in. Right, last job, stick the spark plugs in. Hopefully this will be pretty straightforward. I can't imagine it being anything too challenging, but you never know, do you? So. I'll say that was the final job. This is the final job, isn't it? Putting in the air filter. Right, I'm pretty sure I've done everything now. I'm really nervous about starting it, funny enough. I've been over it a couple of times. I think I've done everything needed to crank it. Let's just go try it. All right, I'll connect to the battery this time. Let's turn it over. I also noticed the battery wasn't left on charge, so it's quite possible it's gone flat. Let's try. That sounds pretty happy, doesn't it? Belts look okay. I'll let it run for a while. I'm going to bring it up to temperature for a bit, just to check it's all okay, but it's running. I think I'll stand around by the key just in case. It says coolant level low, which it probably is. just coming up to warmth for now. Let's get my torch and we'll look around for any water leaks. But I'm relatively confident at the moment. Pretty happy with that. That ran okay, didn't it? Quite noisy the top end, but I think it's a vacuum leak up the top there. I'm going to have a good look around now, just so there's no leaks. It's not leaking, wasn't leaking while it was running, so that's a really good sign. Surprising sign. Still got the coolant warning on, so I need to track down where that is. I've probably disconnected it because there is coolant in there. I can see it's still up where I left it halfway, but it's running, really chuffed. So the next thing is get that back out on the roads. Right, I'm going to wrap it up there. Really pleased with that. And I'm testing out my Porsche seat. As you can see, this I bought probably, it might even be 2 years ago from a chap in Ireland and got it shipped over. They probably need retrimming. The passenger seat, wherever it is in my utility room, is really good. This is the driver's seat. It was a little bit knackered on the base, fabric wise. If anyone has some Porsche fabric, let me know. This is black and white, it's supposed to be. If not, I'm gonna have to buy some and get it shipped over. And then the whole retrimming problem. But anyway, so this is why I'm sat down here, because I've never sat in this chair. Anyway, so the Cambelt is wrapped up. Really pleased to get that work finished. Obviously, I need to swap the radiator out. I've got a Radtech radiator coming. That's gonna be fantastic when it arrives. I'll do a quick video on that so you can see how to swap a radiator out. It should be pretty straightforward, I think. Knowing how many times I've had that fan assembly out, in, out, the radiator should be a breeze comparatively. And if you remember, I filled this up with just whatever coolant was in it and just distilled water. So when I drain it out, I'm not throwing away expensive coolant, a tiny little bit. It's basically just water, so we can flush that away, that's fine. Yeah, but let's just leave it there. So as I always say, click like, subscribe, leave me comments. I'll see you next time.